Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Paradigm Shift in Educational Comedy. And it seems that TSU has gotten a facelift. And I'm about to show you that. And kind of give you a little tour. For those of you who are familiar with the way the interface has looked, even though it was pretty great and so simple that any idiot could manage to use it, there was, of course, one minor complaint about it. And that being simply that though it was simple, it just wasn't the type of thing that people were really used to using. So it had kind of a level of annoyance to it within that, because there was just a little bit of cognitive dissonance going on with that and just wasn't quite used to what people are using. Now, for people who use TSU via cell phone for the cellular interface, I have no idea what that looked like, and I have no idea what it might look like now, so I can't speak on that. So any of you who use the cellular interface can comment on that, but I don't, so I couldn't tell you. But for those who, use the regular, PC interface like this, you might recognize some differences here. We have kind of a YouTube-ish, Google-ish, Facebook-ish, more compliant look, you might say. We got the little icon here that you click, profile, settings, find friends, family tree, FAQ, advertising, sign out. So that's kind of more towards, the Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus sort of look. You click there and there's all your notifications, and they come up a bit bigger and look a little more streamlined, and just kind of the feel of the way the boxes are and stuff. It's a little less draggy than it used to be. Of course, when we click here, this interface looks basically the same as it did before, although it seems to flow a little smoother than it did, but it looks basically the same. Of course, they eliminated the predominantly green background and made it a white background, and they're putting the green to the foreground. Now, you can also see that, the main header here got a bit of a facelift. And this is obviously, this profile is mine, so this is the view when, it's your own profile. Let's take a look at what it looks like when it's somebody else's. Okay, so you got the little friend thing here, following, message, transfer fun. You click there and you got your options, report block, friends, followers, so on and so forth. And, you can click through the various options as usual. Here is the photo options, and it seems to do a better job of streaming the content than it did before. So, load more, So that seems a bit smoother than it used to be. This used to be a bit more draggy. Now it does seem, quite a bit smoother. As we can see, going forward, going forward, going forward, going forward. Quite a bit smoother. Apparently, sometimes it auto-loads when you scroll down, and other times got to click the little, green bar at the bottom for loading more. So apparently that's a minor glitch, but, nothing to be horribly concerned about. It's really not that big deal. If it doesn't auto-scroll, then obviously you still have, the green bar down there. that, you know, you could totally click and, you know, that works just fine. Okay, that time it auto-loaded. So now let's go back up, click on friends. So that view is still basically the same, except now it looks a little bigger, a little clearer, a little more streamlined than it did. And it seems to flow smoother than it did before. So again, you've got obvious improvements within this section as well. I would presume that followers and following is much the same. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, it's a bit bigger, it's a bit clearer. You know, it's a bit easier to follow. It's a bit less shaky than it was. So that's cool. You know, definite improvements there. Now, when we actually scroll to the main page content here, you know, we see the, you know, totally recognizable, you know, usual stuff with, you know, the titles, this, that, and the other. Although whereas the top header used to be green, now it's black and white. And the, you know, the hyperlinks and stuff like that, those are green. You know, we've got our options for, you know, likes. And if I click on there, and notice that changed to 2, so that subtract the like, and I click there, and that adds it back. This obviously tells you how many comments there are, and that is the share button. Of course, it's my post, so I can't share it. But if this is somebody else's page, then, you know, you click that, and the usual little box comes up asking whether or not you would like to share. The scroll through on the content for, you know, main page profiles as I'm scrolling through also appears to be less jittery, a little bit bigger, clearer text, better, clearer, you know, font display, all that kind of thing. And as I'm scrolling, it's not as, you know, jittery and laggy. You know, it seems to flow pretty damn smoothly. So I'm just demonstrating that. Everything seems to load pretty good. Now when we go to our family tree, that still looks basically the same. I mean, obviously it's got the same sort of, you know, display and font, you know, changes and colors and all that sort of stuff that the main profile page has undergone. But beyond that, essentially, the listing still looks the same. You know, the family tree system still looks and functions exactly as it ever did. Okay, I got, you know, 25 children, a total of 322 in my network, 779 followers, 1,031 friends. You know, we can see all of that. So that is still basically the same interface as it ever was. Let's go into the settings. I haven't, you know, been in there yet. Okay, that all looks basically the same. I would imagine the FAQ is the same. Yeah, that looks the same. I mean, obviously it's undergone the same, you know, font and colors and, you know, all of those sorts of changes as per the main template, but the FAQ section still looks like it is operating the same way as it ever did. So this is definitely a lot more streamlined, less jittery, and it's made to be more familiar. in its interface to people who are more used to operating in the Facebook, Google, YouTube sort of realm of things. It's made to be a bit more compliant with that. Obviously, another change is, the page description and, site information and all that is now over here. It used to be up in here. It no longer is, obviously. Now it's in the top box thingy here. So I would say that the changes that were made are good ones. I can only see beneficial changes. I don't see any changes that add any annoyances or detriments. It's all good. I like it. And of course, when we click into, to add a post and whatever, these functions are still the same. You click the Facebook to make sure it posts to Facebook, or the Twitter if you have that, you want it to share to that. So those functions are all still the same. So that has not changed. So yeah, I guess that concludes our overview. This is not a hangout that has to be long. I just wanted to give a basic overview of the cosmetic changes, especially for people who might have made an account and didn't really care for the interface, and they still have the account, but they just haven't used it, and they're kind of like, nah, because they didn't really care for the interface. Maybe now y'all might want to come back. Maybe you'll like this interface better, and maybe you'll be like, oh, well, that's cool, all right. So, hope you enjoyed the little preview, and catch you later.